Hi everyone, this is Evan Ogden here. I am doing my reflection on my NI interview. I did my NI interview with a nurse or a clinical informaticist on February 7th. I actually did it with Karen Lee as well. Shout out Karen Lee. So Tepe Iharada, he has an MSN degree as well as an RN degree. Um, his title is, he told me two titles, a product manager or a clinical informaticist. Um, but just a little backstory for Tepe. So he is from New York. He worked on a telemetry unit at St. Joseph's Hospital for about 8 months. It wasn't really the right fit for him, so he decided to go to the ICU. I think he went to the ICU at St. Joseph's Hospital. He spent about 6 years there, so I think he enjoyed it more there. But after about 6 years, he just began to burn out of the bedside nursing, and a lot of his friends were telling him to get into an NP program. So that's what he did. So he got into an NP program and went, and uh, midway through the program, he realized it really wasn't his fit. He was just kind of doing it because people kind of told him to. It's a good vocation. Um, but during his MP program, he took an informatics course, and he found a real passion in it. He states a passion for IT, for data analytics, and a nurse informaticist was the right fit for him. So after finishing his not an NP but MSN degree, he started working at a place called Holy Name Medical Center, and he's been there for the last 3 years. Anyway, so for the interview, he pretty much talked about. He was a very nice guy. He's pretty much talked about how um, what his job is like, how it's different, and the main things I gleaned from it is it's much different than bedside nursing. It's more so he's pretty much part of the information technology department. He basically works in IT. Um, his facility, Holy Name Medical Center, I thought was really interesting, actually uses their own individualized EHR, which he helped create, or in the later stages of creating it. He says it runs in their emergency department, and they are working to implement it throughout the whole hospital, which I thought was pretty interesting. Um, just as far as a day to day with Tepe, it seems that a lot of his day is much different than anything you'd expect in what I consider a nursing vocation. But his day is basically filled with meetings. He pretty much has zero patient care or zero patient face time, but his day is pretty much filled with meetings with he was mentioning like committees, like a sepsis committee or a pain committee, or certain directors of critical care, or mainly information technology, IT employees. Um, Pretty interesting. He said is more of a what he described what he liked about it was it's a little more sustainable, um, like working on Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, rather than working every other weekend and having a pretty hit or miss schedule. Um, the big things he says that he works on as a clinical nurse informaticist is um, creating methods or creating implementations in the EHR to um, maximize and make a nurse's job pretty much more efficient and safe for patients. He kind of focused mostly on the medication administration record, using all the safeguards and all the database tools that he uses there to first off ensure you're scanning the right patient, the six rights for a patient, and making sure as little medication errors occur as possible. Um, my question for him similar to what I already answered, was what is the best part or the biggest perk of your current job compared to bedside nursing? And kind of what I described in his overview, he began to get burnt out of the bedside nursing in the ICU. He was expressing that he was overworked and he was over his nurse to patient ratio oftentimes, which was leaving it dangerous and stressful when he would leave work. And he started to lose compassion for the direct patient care, as well as obviously I mentioned it's just he has a much more sustainable relationship with his job, and it at least for him just created a healthier lifestyle. as far as uh, as far as Tepe, he has a he seemed like a really bright guy, and he has a huge passion for IT and technology and data analysis. And he was mentioning another big perk of having a job as a clinical nurse informaticist is that um, although you think obviously data analysis is becoming very popular, and hospitals are employing them more and more that we see, but he was mentioning that um, you don't necessarily need to work in a hospital. And I thought that was interesting. A lot of companies are starting to hire people in his position, kind of away from the nursing perspective, but just as a um, more like data analytics with an experience, a background, and a perspective into healthcare. As far as what I am going to take away from this interview and as a master prepared nurse, I think he gave me a very interesting perspective and thoughts and ideas on, what could possibly venture down my vocation as a nurse. I currently love bedside nursing in the emergency department. I don't see a finite timeline for when I think I'll burn out or eventually lose passion for bedside, but there's a chance that that may happen, and it seems like I could see myself resonating with Tepe. I'm not exactly sure if I would fully enjoy the being an NP. I think parts of me would, but I could also see parts of me really enjoying informatics, and down the line, I could consider this an option. I really do enjoy. I guess I enjoy data analytics, um, but I enjoy using my perspective as a nurse and my experience to help make a nurse's job more efficient, not only for them but also for the well-being of their patients. I think that's really big, and I think that's becoming an evolving field in healthcare that can be also obviously very lucrative, but also very beneficial to a hospital, a healthcare organization, as well as the patients. Um, that's pretty much the basics of what I gleaned from this interview. I really enjoyed it. I was kind of shocked he was very open to talking. Karen found this guy on LinkedIn, and he was really cool, very welcoming, very conversational. So I really enjoyed the interview, and thank you for listening if you did.